objectives. With me is Hugh Lovatt, Senior Policy Fellow with the Middle East Programme at the European Council on Foreign Relations. First of all, Hugh, who have the IDF been targeting in this phase of their campaign?
Well, there's been 3 lists of targets. The first are the Al-Qassam brigades, which is the military wing of Hamas. These are the fighters, if we can call them that, who took part in the brutal violence on October the 7th. Israel said it will seek retribution against them. So far, the most highest profile target that the Israelis have hit is someone called Ayman Nofal, who's the commander of Gaza's central district. So far unscathed is the top military leadership, including Mohammed Deif, who has survived previous Israeli assassination attempts. Now, the second list is the political leadership of Hamas within Gaza. So far, we can see there's been 3 of its members who have been killed. However, most importantly, the third list is the senior-most political leadership of Hamas. So far, they have not been hit. They've escaped unscathed, in part because many of the senior members are located abroad in Lebanon and in Qatar and other countries.
So, they're targeting both the acts of terror, the perpetrators of the act of terror, but they're also targeting politicians. But tell me, what's the relationship between these 2 groups?
Well, clearly there is a lot of exchange and interaction between the political and the military leadership. But we need to understand that they are nonetheless their own separate institutional and leadership structures. Here we see on the graphic. And I think what is quite noticeable, and this has played out over the last few weeks, is from what we understand, the Al-Qassam brigades have been training for perhaps 5 years for this attack. The political leadership was not actually aware of the attack, from what I understand, until...
Even though it's been prepared for 5 years?
Exactly. So from what I understand, they knew that it was one scenario that was being prepared, but the actual decision to move forward was taken by the military wing, and the political leadership was only informed at the last minute.
So what is the impact of this conflict on the kind of future direction of Hamas?
It's a really good question. And we need to acknowledge, of course, Hamas has always engaged in violence. However, at the same time, it's worth pointing out that since the 1990s, Hamas's leadership has slowly moderated its position and have talked about political engagement, implicitly at least accepting Israel's right to exist. And so there was a key moment in 2017. Here we have it. It's a document of general principles in which the movement accepted a 2-state solution as a national consensus formula. We've also seen Hamas engage in elections, reconciliation, and this was really the influence of the moderates within the movement, making the argument for why political engagement would work. Now, I think the moderates have lost the argument within the movement, and we've seen the hardliners and the military leadership now take over and move Hamas into another direction.
But can Israel achieve its objective of totally destroying Hamas?
That's a really big question, and I think undoubtedly Israel will have a fight on its hands. Many members of Israel's security and political establishment recognize that. Hamas is dug in and prepared. Now, for Israel to succeed, thousands more Palestinians will have to die, unfortunately. Such is the nature of urban warfare. But even if Israel can vanquish Hamas in Gaza, Hamas will continue to exist. Hamas is not just Gaza, it's in the West Bank, it's in Lebanon, it's a political movement, it's a military movement, and it will continue to exist regardless of what happens in Gaza.
Thank you very much indeed.